With Henry Cavill shown the door from Superman, one question looms large above all others. Why? Well, someone asked James Gunn that very question, and he said, well, he wasn't the right age for his Superman movie that apparently he's been working on all this time. Well, certainly that's true for the movie that he's working on, of this one. But I have to suspect perhaps there was another version of it where it could have fit for Henry. Because Henry said it himself. He was told that he could announce his return as Superman as part of the cameo in Black Adam. And we're only talking a matter of months here. Gunn wasn't involved at that time, but still, that's Warner Brothers as the overall entity saying, yeah, Henry, go ahead. So what are the metrics to make them come to this conclusion? Well, the most obvious one would be that Black Adam didn't perform well. And that's unfair to the Superman character because it's a Black Adam film. You say, well, no more Black Adam stuff. That's understandable. But Superman, why? You know. So through some sort of alchemical equation, and maybe on Safran's part, they came up with this, that it would be better to scrap it and start over. And if that's the deal, I can understand that to a large degree because newer, younger actors, primarily unknowns and whatnot, would be a lot cheaper to go forward with. And and whatever they determined that this was is not as much risk as Warner Bros. Is in a bad state. Zaslav is slashing and cutting all kinds of things to save money. And they present their case, and he agreed with it. So that's a done deal because, you know, he's the God King of the DC, of the whole thing, you know. And so maybe there was a deal for Henry, and it wasn't to his liking, and they shook hands and went their separate ways. Other than that, it's just, well, they called him in for this meeting because it was a nicer way to let him know the bad news, because they probably thought just a phone call would be a bit insensitive. So he comes in, gee, Henry, sorry, but you know, money's tight, and we're going to have to go this other direction. We're big fans and hope to work with you again in the future. And he's like, all right, and he leaves. Or the deal was something that he might have, either he didn't get what he wanted or creative control and that sort of thing. And they said, no, we're not going that route. No, well, then I'm out. Or there's some truth that there's very bad feelings with Dwayne Johnson now. And he's going to stand by his bro, especially since they're both represented by the same agent and all that. And out of loyalty, he decided not to. If that's the case, then this is an interesting thing where is it only Superman who gets rebooted? Does Gal Gadot stay as Wonder Woman? Wonder Woman 3 got canceled, but that might just mean that, you know, the blow up with Patty Jenkins happened. And Gal Gadot's still there. Possibly. It's looking less likely as of now. Perhaps the rumor of Jason Momoa becoming Lobo and abandoning Aquaman could also be very true. Now, Aquaman hit $1 billion of all the superhero movies. I mean, Joker is a separate issue. But that doesn't mean the second one will. And from all accounts, the screen tests are not going well. And he's a much better cast as Lobo. So, and that sounds like a film that James Gunn could take over and do. It would fit very nicely for both of them. So that's the situation for that. So something happened in between because they had Henry go out there, because it's rather humiliating for him to say, yeah, I'm back and I'm looking forward to new Superman and all that. And then less than a month later, no. So it has to be that Black Adam didn't perform to what they wanted. And despite what Dwayne Johnson says, that it's still profitable. Maybe, I don't know. People are saying he's wrong about that. Either way, it wasn't what they wanted. And that's that. Now, you can point to others. Suicide Squad was not profitable. Granted, it was on HBO Max at the same time, But so was Wonder Woman 84. Now, Suicide Squad's a far superior film to Wonder Woman 84, but it didn't perform very well. But it was saved by the Peacemaker series, which was very popular. So perhaps Peacemaker saved that, and we'd be in a different situation here had that not happened. So this also plays into the Batman. It didn't perform to what they wanted, yet for all intents and purposes, depending on what you believe, it's safe. Well, that might be contingent upon the performance of the Penguin show. If the Penguin does very well, and that's a very popular show, then yeah, the Batman 2, it's a done deal. Will be happening. I always assumed it was, but after recent events, nothing is safe. So that might be the deal there for that. As for Batman, Gunn was also asked to clarify on that. Will Batman be a part of the DCU, or is it just Matt Reeves? Batman is the only Batman that there'll be. Gunn responded, he's a big part of the DCU. So that means there's a new Batman on the way. I'm pretty sure Ben Affleck, the time has passed, won't be Batman, but maybe he'll be the director, because they said they had a meeting with him as well and they want him to direct. So maybe he'll direct their Batman film. Regardless of what happens with the Matt Reeves film, Batman, there's going to be this other Batman. So I know Zaslav said there's not going to be 4 Batman, but it's only 2. So, half. And as far as merging Pattinson into it, Gunn's already squashed that. So no, not doing that. That could have been an option they could have done to solidify things, but it ruffles too many feathers. Reeves is dead set against it, apparently. And for whatever reason, they decided not to overrule him. And that's that. So Penguin better be good, or I think that's it for that one. And then there will be one. Whoever the new Batman is, we don't know yet, but there you go. So it's a new Superman and a new Batman, probably a new Wonder Woman and a new Aquaman. So is there any reason to watch the remaining movies? I don't know. I suppose, depending on what reshoots they have done, will the Flash be the tool by which they create their new universe? I guess, but since they haven't cast anybody yet for the new DCU, then I guess it'll be the Justice League in silhouette or something. I don't know. Then after that, you've still got your Aquaman film and poor Blue Beetle, who's just now starting. And will Blue Beetle be the first new face of the DCU? They'll rework it, whereas none of the DCEU stuff appears in it or is even mentioned. Doubtful. And there again, nothing's safe. If it's more to their benefit to write these movies off, they could still be canceled and you never see them. And at this point, all of them are kind of part of a dead franchise that they've just killed right in front of you. So it's an odd situation, but is it? Oh no, you've got to watch all these because it's connected through multiverse and stuff. We'll never revisit it again, but still, unless they do a Crisis later on. As for Gunn's new Superman, there immediately was some fears of it being a new origin story because he says it's earlier in his career. He says that's not the case. Because it sounded like he said, he's meeting Lois and Jimmy and stuff, but he's not meeting them. It's just early in their friendships or whatever, I guess. But it's kind of like, oh, okay, so the first 30 minutes is being cut. So Krypton blowing up, Ma and Pa Kent, the baby in the rocket, and his first getting hired at Metropolis and at the Daily Planet in Metropolis. And then the next day on the job is where the movie actually begins. So you can kind of see it. The overall desire was to see Superman in his prime and full in command of his powers and whatnot. And with Henry, it made sense that that's what you could do. But I guess money's tight. And of course the 10-year deal. So they were like, oh, Henry's 39 and he'd be pushing 50 by the time they were done. But I mean, he's in great shape. And by the time you're done, but not doing it. So there are positives here in what Gunn has said. And since he's working on this Superman script, I remain unconvinced that he's the guy to do that. I was hoping he had an eye, and he still has to have an eye for talent to recruit somebody to handle this. Him doing another Suicide Squad is great. Him doing Lobo, even better. I think he could totally knock that out. But Superman's a little different thing. But, you know, it is what it is. And they got to hit the ground running, which is why they probably should have stayed with Henry. But with this and Superman as what appears and sounds like would be their first film of the new DCU is good, certainly from my point of view, as Superman being the foundational character for their shared DC universe, because that's what he was. He's the character that started it all. And I think the films should recognize that. And it sounds like at least that they're going to do. So they're betting on this. Whatever their metrics are, I don't know. But it told them this is the better bet. And I'm also betting that all the anger and outrage, which I understand, I'm not happy that Henry Cavill's not getting his shot. But by the time this rolls around, perhaps tempers will have cooled down. And we'll give this new guy a shot. And it better be good, because it's got to be the starting point upon which the rest of it is built. But that is appropriate, because I think that's the position that Superman should hold. So there you are. We still don't know really what happened. Will we ever? I'm sure there'll be stuff leaked as time goes on, but whether it's true or not, Gunn will probably come out and say, no, it's not. Because he's very talkative, you know. But I'm still really bummed out about it, and especially for the remaining films, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. You know. And of course, there's the drawback for someone my age to, hey, let's get invested in this whole new thing. So I just wasted years getting invested in the other. And this might be a waste too. Yeah, the clock is always ticking, but nothing Gunn or even Zaslav can do about that, you know. So there are intriguing elements here, and as always, we'll see what happens.